Blessings family. So just doing a midday check-in with y'all, and you can see I brought a friend, the tree. I'm just gonna do a midday check-in. How's everybody feeling? Blessings to you. Sorry, it's been a minute since I've checked in with y'all, but we here now. We are here now, and I just want to see how y'all are doing. You know, we got this Mercury retrograde. We got Venus retrograde almost finished, so hopefully everybody made it through the Venus retrograde with no losses of finances or no material losses or no breakups. But if you have, just know that everything in your path happens for a reason. Blessings. Doing okay, bracing for the new wave of BS. Well, whatever you think is going to happen usually happens. So let's start to turn the narrative, man. Let's start to give more power to a bright future, because it's like we know what the elites are trying to do, but the more that we say like it's going to happen, like the Great Reset and all these things, we give a better chance of it happening. But if we kind of turn our perspective, if we change our mindset and say like, wait a minute, we have a choice in this too. We don't have to let this happen. We don't have to bring into fruition what they're trying to happen. We can just switch our mindset and say like, no, excuse my language, but fuck this. Like, the future looks bright to me. You know, the future looks like us winning. You know, the future looks like us having access to infinite resources. You know, less wars, less fighting amongst each other. That's what I believe the future looks like. So we have a choice, choosing out of love or choosing out of fear, right? Choosing out of love or choosing out of fear. Which one are you choosing? Tread lightly, man. Tread lightly. They put out psyops just so they can further their agenda. Y'all should know this by now. They put out psyops just so that they can further their agenda. So, yeah. But listen, it's a midday check-in, it's a midweek check-in, it's Wednesday, it's Mercury Day. So since it's Mercury Day and we have Mercury retrograde in the sign of Virgo, this means that you're probably noticing some changes in your daily routines. This is what Virgo rules over. You're probably noticing some changes in your work life. You're probably noticing changes in your health. The work life and the routine is big. Mercury rules over Virgo, so Mercury likes to be in Virgo. So when Mercury is retrograde in Virgo, it's like she's home, but she's uncomfortable with being home. So you just might notice, you might have a set routine that you've been doing for the past, I don't know how long. Oh, butterflies. I love when I see butterflies. It's like one of my signs for my guides. But you might have a routine that you've been doing for like the past year or so. You might notice that routine is changing up. This is what happens when Mercury retrogrades in the sign of Virgo. Another thing that happens when Mercury retrogrades in the sign of Virgo, especially depending on the degrees, since Virgo rules over, especially if it's at the 18th degree, that's something to be careful about. But if you have a Mercury degree like the 6th degree, or the 18th degree, those are Mercury degrees, then these are just things to look out for, because it can mean like you could lose your job, you could have a tragedy at work if it's the 18th degree, or you can just have setbacks at your job. Like, you might be saying something to your boss with like clear communication, but for some reason your boss or your supervisor, they're just not understanding what you're trying to say. This is what can happen when Mercury retrogrades in Virgo. So routine switching up and your job switching up. Somebody might even get fired, like your boss might even get fired. Hopefully you don't get fired. But these are things to look out for when Mercury is retrograded in Virgo. I have incomplete paralysis. My body feels weaker, so I'm just pushing harder. Yeah, the 6th house also rules over your health, y'all. So this is a really good time to pay attention to your health. I can't emphasize that enough. What was the thing with Venus you mentioned earlier? Well, Venus is retrograding in the sign of Leo. and she's almost on her way out. But when Venus is retrograding in the sign of Leo, it can just mean like, well, a lot of things. The Leo rules over your father, like it rules over your identity. So you can probably find it like hard to look in the mirror and feel like even if you do everything you normally do, you might look in the mirror and find that the self-confidence is hard to gain right now. You might not feel like at your best, like when it comes to how you look. Even though other people might see you and think you look fine, you might not feel it. This is what happens when Venus retrogrades in the sign of Leo. Another thing that happens is you might be used to expressing yourself in one way, but when Venus retrogrades in Leo, you might stop and reassess the way that you've been creatively expressing yourself and find new ways to creatively express yourself. This is what happens when Venus retrogrades in the sign of Leo, right? Hopefully you don't have a misunderstanding with your father, but that could happen. If you were getting something from your father, like material wealth in some type of way, like finances, your dad was giving you allowance or something, that could be cut off with when Venus retrogrades in the sign of Leo. All right. So these are, I mean, you don't have to subscribe to astrology, or you don't have to think it's real. Like astrology is a way of life. It runs literally everything, the entire simulation. So when you look deeper into astrology, you can find out why things are happening to you in your life, like the way that they're happening. If you know that you have like oppositions or squares in your natal chart, look in your natal chart and you can see the squares, you can see the oppositions, and then you can see the challenges that you are running into in your life, and you're going to be like, oh shit, this is why I'm having these challenges. Yes, because your natal chart tells you like what you're going to encounter in this life. You know, like when somebody cuts you off, or somebody does something to you that's like it's just malicious, right? If you look into your natal chart, you look into your squares, or like if you have a grand square, you can see why some of the problems that you have in your life, why they repeat and repeat and repeat. It's because your soul has leftover karma from the past life that they're trying to clear in this life. That's most likely going to be connected to your childhood trauma, the things that you went through up until the age of 7. And that happens to you so that you can be triggered when the things come up in your life. And when you're triggered, you're able to see, oh, I need to pour more love there. The triggers are connected to childhood traumas, which are connected to past life karma. You have to know this in order to know life. So you won't think that life is happening to you. It's actually happening for you, so you can evolve, right? Just something to keep in mind. After 2 years in a wheelchair, I'm grateful to be walking again. Yes, that's beautiful to hear. I'm not just saying that. That's actually that's a blessing. That is a blessing. After 2 years in a wheelchair, that is not giving up the faith, not giving up the hope. That's beautiful. Yeah, so that's all. I just wanted to stop in for a quick word with y'all today, because the vibes feel so beautiful, y'all. If you have a roof over your head, if you have clothes on your back, if you have food in your stomach, do you know how blessed you are? I pass people in the street every day that just looks like malnourished, like starved. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's such a blessing to realize how grateful, how blessed you are, you know, for the smallest things. If you can take a shower, right? If you got AC in your car, like if you got a cell phone, even, like so many things to be grateful for. So whenever you're feeling down, just realize that, no way, you have so many more things to be grateful for than what I'm actually feeling down about. You know, I don't know your particular situation, but while you're here in this human experience, you might as well try to activate the positive sides, not the negative, right? Is it possible to get a natal chart reading without knowing the time I was born? Yeah, it would just be like a little extra work because you would just have to look at a what do you call it? You just have to look at a ephemeris um, to see like where the planets were when you were born. Yeah, man. If I don't go live tomorrow, at least I'm going live today. I was like, I need to check back in with my fam because I haven't been live in like almost a month. So, actually, no, that's not true. I went live at the beach, but still, I wanted to go live with y'all because I know on the East Coast it's like 5:00, 5:30. But yes, another thing I want to say while I have y'all here is meditate, y'all. You ever wonder, like, let me sit down in this grass. You ever just go throughout your day and you have like thoughts, throughout your head, and you feel like sometimes you can't get a good grapple on your thoughts, like you might just be sitting there and thinking like all of these thoughts are just coming through my head, when in actuality, if you were to start like meditating, like daily, then one thing that you would realize is that the thoughts that you might think just happen to you or just uncontrollable, you start to have more control over those thoughts when you meditate. And I think that people look at meditating as like a chore. Well, really, if you were to start, like I started with my tribe, we meditate like every day. I just started doing random meditations here on Instagram. Some of y'all probably remember almost a year ago. And it turned to what we have on Patreon right now. We meditate every day. We started with 3 minutes. And then from 3 minutes, we went to 5 minutes. From 5 minutes, we went to, I think, 7 or 8 minutes. And then we went to 10 minutes. Now we're at 15 minutes. And so what happens is you'll start at like a 3-minute meditation. And then you'll find like, wait a minute, I actually really enjoy being alone with myself, being whole with myself. And then you'll naturally start to go increase the time. And so meditation isn't this like, I don't know, this thing that's for special people. It's for everybody. And I'm telling y'all, I'm not just gassing you at all. Like, meditation for mental health is meditation for anxiety, depression is magic, like for real. And I'm just keeping it, having an honest conversation with y'all right now. If you can fit meditation in your routine at least a couple days a week, I promise you would find that your whole life would start to change. If you're somebody that uses cannabis, which cannabis is great, right? If you're somebody that uses cannabis, meditate first. Use cannabis as a reward later, but meditate first. Get a control over your mind, your subconscious mind. Meditate. Because sometimes I find that when people get into a tough situation or life is hard, the first thing they do is, oh man, I gotta smoke. It's like, no, brother. Take a deep breath, probably go pop in a meditation real quick. Like we have to start to rely on ourselves, have our own power, be any, the crutch, if you will, when life gives us lemons, which it always will. Tess will always be here. Tess will always be here. And look, I'm not perfect, but I can tell you that the calmer that you remain when you meet negative energy that's meant to disturb you, the more powerful you will feel, the more that your spirit guides will see that and be like, okay, I see. You as within, so without. If somebody knows how to trigger you and push your buttons, and they know what they say to you is going to make you go crazy, imagine the next time that person tries to trigger you and you do absolutely nothing but stay calm, which has the more powerful, what's the more powerful reaction or response? Silence, calmness, or just, fuck you, No, hold your power. Not everybody deserves your reaction. Not everybody deserves access to you. So when people bring negative energy, literally, intentionally meant to disturb you, remain in your power and realize how powerful you are. You don't gotta say shit to those people. All right? And honestly, like, you deserve, like, you owe it to yourself just to, people, the loudest person in the room is usually the weakest, right? So, you know who you are. You know who you are. They can find out if they touch you, but they don't got, just remain calm. Remain calm. But for those who didn't answer my question, how are you? How's your soul? I really want to know. That's why I'm asking. How are you doing? Is life being good to you? Are you doing your affirmations? That's important. Your affirmations are important, especially for my manifesting generators, especially for my people that got 27 degrees in your birth chart, your natal chart. If you got any planet at 27 degrees, don't sleep on your manifestation skills, please. Oh my God, I just had a domestic violence. Damn, Jada. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully you received the message or the lesson from that experience. I'm extremely grateful. I'm really happy to hear that. Wear gratitude like a cloak. I'm great today. It's my dad's birthday. All right, happy birthday, Pops. Situation, and the biggest trigger was my silence. I'm just finished cooking dinner early. I did my workout today. I feel good. Yes, workout is actually therapy. Yes, the signals that are sent to your brain when you're working out, the dopamine that's released, you should work out more. I've got a lot going, been crazy the past few months. Well, hopefully you're doing your affirmations. Hopefully you know that whatever is happening in your day is the result of your thinking. Today is my birthday. All right, happy solar return, the goddess. Happy solar return. It's been one of the worst days of your life. Well, here's some unsolicited advice. If you can, be in silence for the rest of your day. Try to get away from people. And try to journal how you feel so you can always go back and look at that journal and realize that you don't ever have to be at that place again. However low you feel right now, because it's your solar return, so in a day, the day isn't finished, so you can change your whole day to day just by your choosing. So happy solar return. I really hope it turns around for you. Curly Rose, I was running. I wasn't even lethargic or out of breath, and I haven't ran in a year. Yes, at least you running. That's the good start. That's how you get started. You just start. I'm okay. I feel so lost, and my investment is not the cleanest, and an absence of clutter. And my partner is super awesome, but at the same time, I'm over and I feel held back. Ooh. I love y'all sharing. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, just take a nice bath too. Your whole day can get better. Been feeling far more stable in my own skin, realizing that others' ignorance are outward manifestations of what's within me is an amazing facet to consider. Exactly. Y'all, I can say this in like 1,000 different ways, but whatever happens to you throughout the day is the result of your thinking. Period. In the first 20 minutes when you rise out of bed, your brain is operating at 10.5 wave cycles per second. Whatever you think when you first get up, shout out to Les Brown for this, that is going to be the sum of your day. Period. So let's say you rise up into bed, the first thing you do is check social media and you see a bad comment about you. The first thing you do is hit your toe on the wall. The first thing you do is you start listening to rap music. First thing you do is you answer angry text message. You're setting yourself up for that experience the entire day. But let's say you rise up out of bed, the first thing you do is meditate. The first thing you do is write down your affirmations. The first thing you do is go to the gym. The first thing you do is do positive self-talk. Do you know how fast your days will start changing if you set yourself up with the rising routine in a routine when you went to bed? Y'all, it's up to y'all. Y'all determine how your day is going to be. So if you didn't know this, now you know this. When you rise up out of bed, set up for your day. Tune out checking on your phone for an hour if you can. Nobody on social media deserves your attention more than you do when you rise up out of bed. So why should you be checking your phone the first thing? Stop that. You deserve your full attention when you rise up. Period. Nobody else. This is why even when I find my woman and we move in, I'm getting in a separate room because I need my, you know what I'm saying? So when you rise up out of bed, man, positive self-talk, affirmations, do some jumping jacks, stretch, like give yourself your full undivided attention. Eat a good breakfast, drink some water. That should be the first thing you do. Honor your body. Drink some damn water. Why you checking Instagram before you drink water? You thirsty and checking Instagram. What the hell? No. Let's switch it up. Let's change the narrative, man. Let's change the narrative. So I want to see everybody having better days, right? So this way, by the time you go to wherever you need to go, Starbucks or whatever, when that person cuts you off in line, guess what? You already had 20 minutes of meditation for the day. Nothing's going to bother you. No. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. You're obviously in a rush. You can get in front of me. Actually, let me pay for your coffee. You don't got to do all that, but... Man, I want to see y'all having better days, for real, especially during this Mercury retrograde. Let me tell you, if one way for you to get ready for this Mercury retrograde, go to your natal chart and see which house Mercury is transiting. So when you see which house Mercury is transiting, you'll know exactly how you're going to be affected during this Mercury retrograde. Let's say Mercury is transiting your 7th house. Well, you and your spouse might start to have communication problems, or even your siblings can get involved with you and your husbands, because Mercury rules over Gemini as well. Gemini rules over the house of siblings. If Mercury is transiting your 4th house, it's not a good idea to talk on the phone when you're at home. You can have arguments on the phone when you're at home. Mercury rules over communications as well, and the 4th house rules over your home. So you just have to see where Mercury is transiting so you can know, especially which degree it's at, so you can know how you're going to be affected. And then, like clockwork, I promise you that's exactly how you're going to be affected. What if you don't have a Mercury transit? It's impossible not to have a Mercury transit in your natal chart. Everybody has a Mercury transit in the natal chart. Everybody, I promise you. So yeah, you know how you look at the clock every day just to see what time it is and what's going on? If you start to study the stars, the luminaries that's on the firmament that control our body and our, the magnetic, electromagnetic field around us, that's what stars are. That's what luminaries are, like Jupiter, Mars, and stuff. Y'all know those are just like big controllers. Mercury controls the way we communicate. Mars controls the way we do things. It controls our anger, our headstrong. Pisces controls our feet. It controls confusion. It controls hospitals. So all of these big controllers control certain things. So that's why they affect us in the way that they do. But they're not like these huge, big-ass planets. No, they're just luminaries. And once you learn what stars are and vibrations, you would know exactly why they affect you in the way they do. It's a certain reason why Neptune affects your dreams, right? There's a certain reason why the moon is over you when you're in the astral realm. It's just pay attention, man. But yeah. So same way that you look at the clock to see what time it is, if you look at the stars, like every ancient civilization did, they studied the stars to know what time it was. Hello? And if y'all can't tell, thank you for saying you love my page. I appreciate that. Y'all can always catch me under some type of tree if I'm outside. For one, shade. Thank you. And for two, y'all know trees can hear you, right? Y'all know when trees are depressed, they send like healing energies through their roots to each other because their roots are touching underneath the ground. When one tree is sick, they'll send healing energies to that tree. Yeah. Trees are alive. So when you go near one and you start talking, you're being heard. I know that might seem whatever, but it is what it is. So that's why you can always catch me with a tree. Outside and inside. Hey. Ooh, I am in California. So another thing I want to talk to y'all about while I have you here is pretty soon finding your own living, creating your own living is going to be a thing. It's going to be a topic of discussion. I'm starting to see more tents pop up here in California and LA everywhere, but tiny homes, 3D printed homes, people using shipping containers, vans, like you've already been seeing it over the past couple of years, but more and more and more people are going to start to create their own little neighborhoods, start to set up alternative means of living. So just putting that out there because it's something that you should be starting to pay attention to. If you don't have land, you can purchase land with some friends. Now, I can ask y'all this question, and I know the answer before even asking you the question. What is the biggest expense in your life? It's probably rent. Most likely it's rent. Now, how would your life change if you didn't have to pay rent? Ooh, dangerous thinking. That's some dangerous thinking. you're probably paying like $1,500, $2,000 in rent. Imagine if you didn't have to pay that much per month. Boy, dangerous thinking. And I know the first thing that people think about is, I don't want to live on the street. Y'all, I've seen some RVs that look better than apartments. I've seen people convert shipping containers that look way better than apartments. I'm just saying. You can buy land or you can buy a house. It's up to you. Choose wisely. Land is going to last you forever. That house is going to be up as soon as you can't afford to make the payments no more. Land is yours as soon as you pay for it. That house, you're going to be making them payments for 20 years, and then if you don't pay it off, your children going to pay it off. Choose wisely. You can buy land for $10,000, throw a tiny home on there, and travel with the money that you used to pay rent with. Choose wisely. Wow, I'm looking at a flagpole. Somebody wrote Agartha, in the earth. It's funny how you just look around and see these subtle things. Yeah. It's up to us, though. Blessings, Jamie. It's up to us, though, to really take back the only reason why this well-oiled system is still functioning so pristinely is the fact that we all subscribe to it and we think this is the only way to live. Like going to a 9-to-5 is the only way, or paying rent is the only way. No, that's just one way to subscribe to this life, this human experience. You probably have a skill or a talent that you're sitting on right now that can pay your rent every month. Or you could probably, like I said, choose tiny home living or choose alternative living and never have to pay rent ever again. Choose wisely, because whether y'all see it or not, whether y'all know it or not, things are changing. People are starting to realize how much power they have. Things are changing. The power is switching into our hands, but it's up to us to say, I think the thing that stops a lot of people from fully coming into their own power and being self-sustainable is the dependency that they have on the government. The dependency that, if the government does it, then it's going to be the right way, or it's never being in your, never standing on your own 2 feet before, always having things held out or given to you, So the sooner that people realize that Walmart wouldn't be Walmart, Bill Gates wouldn't have his wealth, Amazon wouldn't be Amazon, none of these companies would be what they are if we decided to stop supporting them. I know I said this a while ago, but if we stopped shopping for 3 days, the entire American economy would shut down. Something to think about. Anyway, I'm loving this just calm live with y'all, because I'm telling y'all, can't nothing take away from this feeling, man. This feeling of just being alive, to be blessed. I can say this over and over again, but just to have 10 fingers, 10 toes. cheers to everybody out there that's watching this that is blessed. For real. All of y'all are blessed, man. So, like I said earlier in this live, if you've been going through something and you don't know why you're going through it, just look at your natal chart. Look at where Mercury is, look at where Venus is, and just know this too shall pass, right? Whew. I wasn't even planning this today, but I saw this. I come to this park all the time, and I was just like, you know what? Let me go check in. Let me go check in with my people. Sometimes you can feel it when you just need to check in with your people. Oh, thank you. I love you too. Yeah. Enjoy the sun while you can. If you can, go outside and put your feet in the grass. We got a heat wave here in California, but underneath this tree, it feels like paradise. Go ground yourself. Go connect with the grass. Go connect with the roots. If you see a tree that's on your property or close by and the tree is twisted at its trunk, that lets you know that that tree is on a powerful ley line. If you ever see a tree that's twisted at the trunk or splitting at the trunk, it's on a powerful ley line. Go tap in with that tree. Learn to look out for ley lines. Ley lines are great to meditate on. I keep seeing butterflies around here too, and it's not just the regular butterflies. It's like blue ones and orange and red ones. Yeah, if you're used to sitting on your couch right now, if you're used to sitting on your couch with the remote in your hand watching Netflix, go outside. Take your ass outside right now. Netflix can wait. If you can, go outside right now. Just get some air. Connect with the earth, the real Wi-Fi, the real connection. You know? Sit in the room. My phone's on 20%. Just lets me know that I'm going to have to take my own device here soon and log off and connect with the trees. Yeah, I think I like doing these lives in the elements. So over the next month, if I do go live, it's probably going to be somewhere in the elements, outside of the house. The last one I did was by the ocean. Maybe the next one be up in the mountains. Another thing I'm going to ask you to do is, now this one's really important. Reassess your circle. Reassess the people that you spend the most time with and ask yourself, do these people align with my morals, my values, my goals? Because if you hang out with 5 clowns, guess what? Exactly. You're going to be the 6th one. But if you choose to hang out with 5 people with good values, good morals, a good moral compass, guess what? Exactly. They're going to push you to do better and be better. You might not think that people can influence you, but I can tell you otherwise, whether you know it or not. So reassess your circle and make sure that the people that you're with are going where you want to go. And if you have to go at it alone, just know it won't be for long. But it's important to make sure you got good people in your life. That's important. And I'm not just saying that, like, that's really important. Choose wisely. Before before we get out of here, let me show you all the trees just blowing in the wind for a second. Yeah, so chill. Life is so beautiful, man. So yeah, before I get out of here, do y'all have any topics that you would like for me to cover here in 5D Mystery School? If so, let me know right now. It's a great day to have a great day. Thank you for sharing. It is a great day to have a great day. Exactly. And I was serious with what I said in that video the other day, y'all. Like, change up your sleeping schedule. Change up your sleeping schedule if possible. It might be hard to believe, but I rise up at 4 a.m. or 4:20 every day, 4:20 a.m. every day. I find that I get the best ideas at 4 a.m. because a lot of the world is still sleeping over here. But speak out about what you are most being called to. Oh, okay, Jenny, I remember your name. The blue moon meaning the blue. It's funny how you got all of these old greats like Frank Sinatra and Nat King Cole, Ella Fitzgerald. They all have these songs. Blue Moon, right? Oh. Well, if you think about it, Blue Moon, if it was like an actual blue moon, the moon should be at its highest point. And if it's a red moon, it should be at its lowest point. And why do I say this? Is because if you look at the electromagnetic spectrum, which is what this whole earth is ran off of, the higher you go is going to be your blue and purple energies, and the lower that you go is going to be your red energy. So if the moon is at a high point, then I will believe that it's, well, I wouldn't even believe that it's a natural occurrence, because the moon is not a natural occurrence. But we're not going to go down that rabbit hole today. Y'all should know that the moon is a artificial intelligence supercomputer. If you didn't know, spoiler alert. But yeah, that's all I have for y'all today. I really appreciate y'all kicking it with me today, being here. I don't know if I'm going to go live tomorrow. That's why I went live today. If I do, then hey, it'd be a bonus. If we can all make a wish at the same time, let's remember the perfect earth we used to daydream of. I love that. I am hosting a sacred release in nature. Ooh, that's beautiful. I was thinking about you today. Blessings, Alex. Good to see you, fam. Much love to you. Yeah, and if y'all can, please just get outside. Like, stop what you're doing right now. Go outside. Go hug a tree. Go enjoy the wind. You know, put your hands in grass. The last thing that I'll say to y'all is that we all know that we are controlled by this thing that we call time, but really we're controlled by water. You know when you're in a car and you have your hand like outside the window and you feel that force around your hand and you're like, oh, it's the air around my hand. That's water. Fish are swimming in water at a very strong density, like a very thick density. But up here, when you go out of the ocean into our air that we breathe, our air is a very, 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 very lightly dense version of the water that you see in the ocean. So we're walking in around water at all times. And when you put your hand out the window, that you're moving in the water, you're walking in water all at all times. If you were to have an air hydro extractor, which is probably going to be the method that they provide clean drinking water in the future, you can see that you can pull hydrogen, air, the water combination right out of the air. So water is time. Time is water. That's a deep rabbit hole. I don't know why I just threw that to y'all at the end, but maybe we'll get back onto that at a later date. But water is time, and time is water. And with that being said, since my phone is about to die, thank y'all for chilling with me today. I appreciate y'all being here. Make sure that you're taking care of your mental health. Make sure you're taking care of your heart. You're operating out of your heart chakra. And again, oh, another butterfly. This one's a big one. Wow. And again, pay attention to the synchronicities. Pay attention to the synchronicities. Pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to the people that are put into your life, that put in your path to teach you a divine message. You run into nobody by accident. And you saw this live on purpose, not by accident. So with that being said, I love y'all so much. Until next time.